Okay, I'm getting ready to put the drive shaft in. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosely put in one of the sets of bolts and the clamp that hold in the U-joint to the differential, so that I can just slip the U-joint into it. And it will support it for me while I do the other side. I'll just get a few threads here, because I want to make it easy to insert that. Don't want to be fighting with it being too close. Get the other flange so that I have it available to me whenever I need it. I had to just take these off of the old differential and run a wire wheel on them and put some of my non-evaporating rust preventer that I've been using on a lot of the bolts on them so that they won't rust. Now I'm unboxing the Driveshaft, which I thought I was going to have to paint this today. But early this morning, I finally opened the box and discovered that it's been painted for me. This came with the transmission kit. Oops. Got a little love note here for me. Got it tied on with wire. Looks like the yokes where the U-joints attach are not painted, so I probably will just coat them with my non-evaporating rust preventer. They say that that is supposed to stay on there pretty much forever without drying out, so we'll find out. Hopefully I won't find out, because hopefully I'll never have to deal with this again. Come on. It's hard to see this thin wire and decide which way they wrapped it. If you can't get it off by unwrapping it, get some cutters. So I cut that off, and it just was a tag identifying it as belonging to me. So I'm going to take this around, and hopefully that transmission's in neutral, because I might need to spin the shaft in order to get this to line up with the yoke on the differential. Looks like they didn't paint the yokes where the U-joints are attached. I'll probably just coat them with my non-drying rust preventer because I don't want to take the time now to stop and paint it and have it dry for a day or whatever. Try to put it in. You know what? I'm gonna make sure I turn that camera on. And I did. So you just kind of have to line up the splines inside the transmission. And those things will always, in my experience, go in far enough that you can push it in further and then bring it back if you have to. Like that. So, where did I? And the transmission must be in neutral because I'm able to turn that. I can undo their tape on this one. Slide that cap under the retainer. I had it in and I took it out. This is where you have to be careful that you don't knock that cap off because you'll end up with needle bearings all over the floor. And that is not a good situation. Going back to get my ratchet, I did bring it with me. Just had to reach for it. So to tighten, bring this drive shaft out to where the bolt caps are. Of course, I need an extension, maybe even a swivel. I already looked up the torque specs on this. They're only 15 foot-pounds, which is a little surprising that you drive your car. And that's as tight as the drive shaft is. Okay, that's probably, I can't even get down here. I can't see the cap from the U-joint here, but it looks like this one is far from the retainer part of the cap. So I think that needs to be backed up quite a bit. So I'm going to have to loosen that, and I can't get my big feet underneath the frame of the chassis. So what we'll do, we'll start these. This would be easier if I did it from the other side, but that'd be in your way. Okay, and I'll loosen the other side a little bit and shift that just a wee bit towards the camera. Put this back on tighten before I set it down so that I'm ready to go whenever it's gotta put it back on loosen because I didn't loosen it enough. Well, they're in those caps good, so I don't have to worry about the caps coming off and dropping all my bearings on the floor. Still doesn't look like it's far enough over to the passenger side of the vehicle. There's a lot of room there. Oh no, there isn't. The pin that holds it from going too far one way or the other is wider than I thought it was. Okay, that moved some. But now I think it's in the right place. Okay, that looks good. Those are moving the car. It must be in gear. Which brings me to the last thing I think I can do, and that's put the shifter lever on. I don't know whether it's really in neutral or that's just enough play in the transmission, you know, that it's allowing it to move a little bit. I guess there's a good way to test that, and that's just push the car a little bit, see if it stops it, because right now, I don't know if it's in neutral or whether it's in a gear and spinning the gears, and the torque converter is not bolted to the flex plate, so at this point I guess it could be turning the whole torque converter and everything. But the point is, I will be able to push it up onto the lift to raise it up underneath the body. See if I can find that shift lever. So there's the shift lever. I've already put it on the shaft. I may take it off just to show you it, but tag on there says don't use power tools on it. I'm going to leave that tag on because it can be ripped off. It's just paper. And first of all, I've got to see if this is the right nut for that, because they gave you 2 nuts. Yeah, that looks like it. They gave you 2 nuts and no instructions on which one was for what. And I had picked up the first one before. There's a rectangular slot here, and there's flats on both sides of this shifter lever, or shaft I should say. According to the drawing, it looks like that bend has to come out. So no torque specs on this, and I can't look it up in my Corvette manual because the Corvette manual wouldn't have this transmission. Okay. I'm guessing that's neutral. Seems to be reverse park. Park goes in very distinctly, or definitely, you can tell what's in there. And then you'd have drive, second, first, second, drive, neutral. That should be neutral. So I do have to put a bracket on the bottom here, take out a couple of these bolts, put a bracket on that goes to the cable inside the car. But that's going to be easier done, just like the torque converter bolts to the flex plate. It'll be much easier done once I've got it up on the lift. So that is going to be it for, I think that's all I can do for transmission installation for now. It's hooked to the engine except for the torque converter. Drive shaft's in, hooked to the differential. Cooling lines are attached to the transmission side of it. That's as far as I can go for now. I think coming up next will be probably connecting the hydraulic lines from the power steering pump to the steering gear. But that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching.